All right, Velo fans, we have the Argon 18 Gallium Pro. This is a 2017 bike. I know it just turned 2018 a few months ago, but effectively the same bike as far as ride. The only difference is on the 2018, you're going to get room for 28 mil tires. I think I have close to that in the front. Basically, you're getting a little more room in the back on the 2018. I think they have a disc option too. Not running that. I took this frame and built it up with some parts I had laying around, and it's been good to me. So let me just kind of walk through the build just front to back and see how we go here. Let you know what we're running. So let's just start at the front and work our way back. I'm running the roll wheels. This is the Race SL. It's a 24 by 20 spoke count wheel. One of my favorites, running a Sapum CX Race spoke. I think is the gold standard in spokes. Running a Rubino Pro tire on a 25 mil. This is my training bike, so that's why I'm running those Rubinos. I get a lot of mileage out of them, and knock on wood, reducing flats as best I can. Running Ultegra for the most part across the bike. You'll see in a minute, crankset's a little different. Running a Shimano Pro Vibe. That's the 7S bar. That's a Barfly mount that, as you can see, integrates into the Physique faceplate. I really love that setup. It's probably the cleanest setup you can get apart from some integrated options. I'm really loving it. They have an updated version where the puck in here is changeable, so you can run a different computer, your Wahoos and stuff. Physique stem, obviously it's a 120 mil. It's a 44 mil bar. Saddle, running the Pro logo. Let's get a little focus there. Come on, baby. Anyway, it's the Nago Evo. Get a little different color here, maybe it'll focus. The Nago Evo, full carbon rails. I think that's like their top of the line. It's light. I wanted to build this bike pretty light because not only is it my training bike, this is my climbing bike, and you'll see some of those choices too. Running the Arundel Mandible. I was never. Somebody gave me these. I was never like on the get expensive bottle cage, tip. That wasn't really my thing. But man, these things, of course they're light, but man, they hold a bottle really well. So on some of the really rough chip seal we have here in Texas, they do great. You'll see, apart from everything else being Ultegra, I am running a Dura Ace. This is what's that, 9100? That's the newest one. Crank. I'd run Ultegra. Ultegra's fine for the training bike, but I do run a 177.5 length, and you have to go to Dura Ace with Shimano to get that. Speedplay zero pedals, whatever, the stainless. It's a good pedal. I run that on all my bikes. Again, Ultegra mechs, Ultegra brakes. Seat post came with the bike. You can see it has you can change this to change the setback, I think from like 15 mil to 25 mil, so you flip this guy. I don't like setback. I run a kind of a more modern fit with my cleats way back, so it means I have to slam that saddle all the way forward with this seat post. I think at some point I may change that, because I actually am getting the fit right, but I am just on the limit of what that thing allows, including the length. I have it probably 5 mils from the limit on depth, and that's normal with bikes. Usually the seat post it comes with, if you're a tall person, might not be enough. And then this is the Physique bar tape. It's the 3 mil. This is the classic finish, and yes, there's 1,500 miles on this bar tape, and it is still white. Can't recommend that enough. Physique's classic finish. It's the only white bar tape I'll buy because it stays. So now to the frame and the ride. Okay, the frame. First thing you got to see here, and it may not be completely clear, but this is one of the beefiest carbon forks I've ever ridden, and I love it. It's been great to me. Again, this is a big bike. It's effectively a 60 centimeter bike, which means for me, front end and head tube and fork stiffness is huge. Tall guys know that is the measure of a bike, really, because when you get up 40, 50 plus miles an hour, bombing it downhill, man, any wobbliness, which can be a problem on big bikes, is terrifying. And this may be the stiffest front end on a road bike I've ever been on. So it's a huge win for me. I love it. Again, I'm running the 25 mil 3D spacer, which is pressed in. So, you know, their claim, and you know, I can't say I feel it, but it seems to check out. Their claim is that these pressed in cups are stiffer than using a traditional spacer, and you can use them in combination. I mean, you can use the 15 mil cup and put a few in there, or use none of those pressed in deals, the 3D headset as they call it, and then use some spacers to get the fit that you need. And I find the 25 mil pressed in there works for me. It makes, like I said, that makes this a 60 centimeter bike. It's stiff enough. Down tube, BB, bottom bracket is the, what do they run, the BB86, so I'm running that Dirt Ace composite bottom bracket in there. It's great. And then what you really want to see here is these chainstays are wispy, to say the least. I mean, they are thin. I've had people on mountain rides comment about how thin they actually are. And they do legit make this ride comfortable. But because the front end and down into the bottom bracket is so stiff, I don't feel like I'm giving anything up. In fact, if you look over on the rack, I race on the Nitrogen, which is their aero race bike. And, you know, in the weeks and race weeks and training weeks when I'm riding that bike more than this one, and then I come back to this bike, every once in a while I look back thinking I have a flat because it's that much more forgiving with these super thin seat stays. So it's great out here in the Texas Chip Seal. Like I said, training bike. I run a compact crank because this is the bike I take when I'm going to do some climbing, or I want to go on long rides and I don't want the climbs to hurt. I want to be able to spin it out. So that's how I roll. So I get a 34-28 low gear, which is great here in Austin with some of the 15% steeper climbs we have to deal with. So it's great. The ride's great. It's an all-day good bike. The front end is super stiff, so it really rails with precision. Unlike most 60 centimeter bikes that I've ever ridden, this thing really is hooked up at high speed. So the Argon 18 Gallium Pro, designed in Canada. I'm happy with it. Good sled. Keep it around. Got about 1,500 miles on it, and we'll keep cranking.